Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining me for another special health focus Tai Chi and Qigong class. Today we're continuing with our 24 international competition simplified form. Isn't that a long name? In Chinese you'd say 24, 24, 24. 24, so they say 2, 10, 4 steps, and steps is shi as well. So yeah, the tonal language is really interesting. Let's take right hand in fist, left hand straight, pull back the thumb, feet together, hands together, and press forwards. Good. Let's open our stance and just begin with our lovely lazy roll into the 4 corners of the hips. So in a visit to China, at one stage, a tour guide was telling us about a poem that a Chinese man created to demonstrate to foreigners how the Chinese language worked. And it was the same sound to us, to a non-tonal speaking person. The whole poem was one sound, and I can't remember what the sound was, but would say "r." So it's until it just sounds like the same word again and again. But actually it was telling the story about lions at an emperor's court. And it's just showing that the tones mean everything. So you have to be very, very careful when you're speaking Chinese, either Mandarin or Cantonese, that you get the right tone. For example, say the sound ma, you can have ma, 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 ma. I don't know all the meanings. One of them means horse, another means mother, and another one is the most awful swear word. So you can imagine if you're trying to talk about someone's mother, you could actually hugely insult them. So yes, we have to be careful with tonal language. Luckily, we don't have to learn the language to learn the martial art. Let's change direction, please. Our Grandmaster Chen, though his English is okay, it's pretty decent, he tends not to talk much at all when he teaches, minimum. And if he wants to give a correction, almost always he'll go and actually physically correct you, like move your body into position. I remember my teacher in Donegal saying he was giving her private tuition, and one day he just got up, she was doing silk reeling, and he just, like, how to say, hand in glove, just moved right against her body, behind her, and she kind of panicked for a moment, she's like, what is he doing? But he did the silk reeling, and very quickly she realized, oh right, he's trying to explain how to do this, the whole body moving in a particular way, and within a couple of seconds, she was moving with the movement of a master. So he wasn't doing anything inappropriate, though in Western culture, yeah, that would be really dodgy to come up behind someone and just kind of glue yourself to someone. But he moved, you know, he did the silk reeling with her and, you know, kept doing it for a while and then stepped away from her. And she said it was the most amazing experience because she moved with the qualities of a master, that she could feel the energy flowing through her body correctly, because he was basically like a puppeteer moving a puppet. He was controlling her not just with his hands, but his entire body was telling her exactly where to go. And she said he did it a couple of times in her whole training with him. Have we done both directions? I think we have. Good, so let's come in the center. And she said it was one of the best experiences of her life because she felt what it is to be a master. Also, she realized, might never get that. And she says, as soon as he stepped away from her, she continued it, she felt it, the connection, the alignment, the flow for, I don't know, a few minutes. And then it started to fade, that her own body's memory and movements kind of crept in. So that's incredibly unusual. She said that she's never seen him doing that with anyone else. And there was no funny business. Change direction, please. But in general, anyone who trains with the Grandmaster, as long as it's not a massive meeting, like in Japan, they tend to have 2,000 people in an arena with him on stage at the top, in which case he doesn't do any hands-on because he doesn't have time to fix 2,000 people. But in Ireland, we're so lucky, a large group would be around maybe 60 people on the floor, which is pretty small for a masterclass. And he comes around and he gives everyone hands-on correction. So just a little movement. And it can fix something that's been wrong for years. Just being able to be put into that alignment. And then you go, oh, is that what it's meant to feel like? Change direction, please. So in the Chen tradition, we are taught to give hands-on correction. And that's what I do, though I must admit, since the COVID pandemic, I have been a lot less hands-on again, and I'm only really starting to introduce it back into what I'm doing, as I feel that I'm not scaring people or encroaching on their personal space. So I'm being a little bit more hands-off. Unfortunately, I can't reach into the screen and correct you, but there's lots of advantages to studying this way, so let's use them. We're going to do a little rowing action. Good. And the hands-on method is not the only method. I've studied with another master for 9 years every day, and he rarely laid a hand on anyone until it was time for push hands. Let's do a double turn to each side. So each teacher has their own way of doing it. There's no one way. So a little bend of the knees, keep the knees pointing forwards, turn in the waist. Now let's go one at a time, left and right. I'm sorry, I'm very chatty today. I have a story for you, another story. My husband studies a thing called Chow Lai Fut. He teaches it, it's Shaolin style. The Shaolin style has a lot of different branches, so Chow Lai Fut is one of those styles. Shaking out, please. And one of their teachers, one of their Grand Masters, is called Wang, W-A-N-G. And it's a system that's all over the world. Let's do a little bounce, please, and circle the arms. And this teacher noticed that certain areas of the world taught Chow Lai Fut in a different way. I think he teaches in America, actually. And so he came out with, don't do it the white way, do it the Wang way. Which, yeah, seemed to amuse his students. Good. All right, now if it hurts, you need to adapt what you're doing, okay? So say the movement we just did, that's quite intense on those arms, on the rotator cuffs, so you could always make it very small. Let's try it, please, everyone. It's good to practice adaptations, even if you don't need them, because then if you ever do need them, they're there. You remember, oh, well, if it hurts, I can do this. Good, change direction, please. You'll also find that soft movements, small movements, have a kind of power that large movements don't. And that makes some sense. Good, shake out. Because, think of a wheel turning. The outside of the wheel is using up the kinetic energy by moving, whereas the inside of the wheel, though it is turning, it's practically invisible. You can't see the fact that it's turning. So in the center of the wheel, there is generation of power. On the edge of the wheel, there is exhaustion of power. So actually, the smaller our movements, the gentler the movements, try doing just little wrist movements. The smaller the movements, actually, the more powerful they are because you're generating energy rather than expending it. You're not using it. Change direction, please. So that's very, very useful to know, that you can build power by practically not moving. Good, and shake out. In fact, I remember a teacher saying that big movements are not as good as small movements, and small movements are not as good as stillness. So actually stillness is one of the most powerful things that you can do. But we want to combine stillness and movement to get the best of both worlds. Let us do a couple of minutes of standing practice, please. And that's our stillness practice. We have our feet together. We lengthen up through the top of the head, and we bring the chin slightly down and back. Take a moment to arrive here and now. Calm down through your body. Feel down through your legs and let your toes gently spread. Feel the weight spreading evenly across your feet and sinking down into the floor. Let's release through belly, hips, and knees. Filling your right foot, emptying your left foot, and step open. Relax the foot down and shift your weight into center. So now you can look down and check if your feet are level, and if they're not, adjust. And this is the one part you want to be absolutely critical about, because if the feet are level at shoulder width, then you have a good foundation. So then we check posture again. We float up through the top of the head, the chin slightly down and back, and we want the body to drape and release. Relax your belly. Feel your belly gently rolling down. And from the small of your back, feel the small of the back gently rolling down, as if both front and back, if you imagine them sideways on, both front and back release to the center point underneath. So we want to feel bottom heavy and top light. Stretch your fingers gently down. Feel all 10 fingers. Float a little bit away and draw the arms gently up. Relax your chest. Breathe and relax through your body, making sure no tension is building. Breathe it away with each breath. Let your upper legs very slightly roll inwards. I know that sounds a bit weird. You may feel like you're going knock-kneed. But do you feel as you do that, the crease of your leg releases? That's what we want. We want that crease to be soft. And the buttocks, the muscles of the lower back and the hips are nice and relaxed. Feel your shoulders melting out to the sides. Feel the shoulder blades sliding down your back into your back pockets. Beautiful, well done. Very gently lower the arms down. And cover center. Hug your elbows gently in and breathe into your belly for a few moments. Good. Now let's circulate the energy by gently rubbing the belly, and think of the energy in your belly as swirling with your hand. Try to keep the upper body relatively still as the lower body swirls, yin and yang. Good. Let's change direction. Cover center. Breathe into your center. Well done. Relax the arms gently down, feeding your weight into your right, and again close left. Let's recover, and a little heel tap. Good. Now, of all the exercises in Tai Chi, that one is considered to be the most powerful and the most important. According to Grandmaster Chen, the head of the Chen style lineage, a 19th generation from the original creator of Chen style Tai Chi. Standing practice is your foundation stone. It's not even a cornerstone of Tai Chi, it is your foundation. And it's something we don't often do in this class, because not everybody likes it. One, it is quite difficult. Actually, it's probably the most difficult thing I'll ever ask you to do, is to do nothing. But do you notice doing nothing actually is quite, it takes quite a bit of energy because it's doing nothing with style. You have your posture. So it's alignment practice, it's stamina and endurance practice, it is mindfulness practice, it is learning to release and let go practice. And the better your alignment, the more comfortable it will become. So I encourage you every day, without fail, if you can, do a little bit of standing. Even if it's 20 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Every time you go into alignment and breathe, release and let go into your best possible alignment, you are building a structure and a foundation for the rest of your Tai Chi and for your health. So I don't know if you heard the expression cotton belly, iron shirt. And to different teachers over the years, I've heard it being explained in different ways. But the way my standing practice teacher explains it, cotton belly is showing that you're very relaxed. Your muscles are relaxed. You're not tensing or squeezing. You're letting the energy flow by relaxation. But the iron shirt element is your immunity becomes cast iron. It's like you're putting on armor. So if you do your standing every day, you become pretty much bulletproof when it comes to illness. Now, as you do your standing, you may actually be drawing out issues that you have held on for weeks, months, years, or decades. So actually the gunk has to process out first before you're truly building the iron shirt, before you're building your armor. And it does require daily practice, at least 20 minutes. If you can build up to 45 minutes a day, you'll be solid, you'll be really good. But you can't start with 20 minutes easily. I recommend 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Just get into the habit of calming down, opening, getting your posture, and rinsing the tension out of your body as you stand. If you do that, even for a few minutes, even for a few seconds, you will start to feel benefits straight away. So I go through phases. I did brilliantly from Easter to Christmas, didn't miss a day. I did at least 20 minutes, some days 40 minutes, 45 minutes, no problem. Then all sorts of things happened at Christmas. I got sick, my parents got sick, I had lots of extra pressure, and I fell off the wagon. And I have not managed to do daily practice in it every day since. Hands up, honestly, yeah, that's not great. Grandmaster's coming next month, no, month after, and I really have to get on that wagon again so that I don't let the side down. But every effort pays off. All that effort between October and December paid off. I'm a better practitioner for it. But you'll notice if you do a little stand each day, your form changes. You feel more grounded, you feel more smooth, you feel more connected and aware of when to stop a movement rather than keep traveling in it and losing connection. So please do have a play with it, because every effort will pay off. Okay, let's go through the 24 form. We're going to do the whole thing, and then I'd like some feedback if there's any area you would particularly like to look at. If there isn't, then it'll be executive decision. I'll decide what to do then. So the whole thing, please do what you can. If you get lost, don't panic. Just watch for a second and breathe. Join in when you can again. So over to your right, we lengthen up. And relax down. Calming down. Listen behind. And we begin. Nearly did Chen style there, sorry. Ready? Separate wild horse's mane. Half step. White crane opens its wings. Old cat washes its face. Now I'm going to add a stepping back routine. Ready? So we turn to the right and step back left. Turn to the left, step back right. Keep going. Just to get us back without stopping and starting again. This time, left fingers point to right elbow and continue with brush knee push. Stay forwards for a half step with the back foot. Right side pulls back, left side raises, and relax. So hui pi ba, play the pi ba. 4 steps back. Do you have room? You always have to listen behind you when you step back. Turn back the way you came for grasping bird's tail. Peng, Lu, Ji, An. casting the net. Repeat, hung, just in screen, Lu, G, An. Now excuse me while I reposition. Ready, single whip. Relax to center, fix the back foot. Remember, the body should not be square in this position. The body should be facing the corner. Now we release and open. Cloud hands. Single whip again. And I'm going to take more space. High pat on horse. Separate, kick right. Two bees buzzing. Turn to the back. Take the weight right, lift the left side, and separate, kick left. Right hand hooks, sink and expand on the diagonal for snake creeps down. Turn left, turn right, turn left. Feed into the front leg, bring the back leg through, point the toes down, heel of hand down. Pluck, lower the foot, a little pivot. Everything smaller, everything bigger. Snake creeps down. Turn front foot, back foot, front foot. Fill the front foot, swing up, and heel of hand down. Again, I need more space, maybe you do too. For Jade Maiden plays shuttles. Ready? We step, hug ball, step, feed it through, back, hug ball, step, feed it through, half step, swing, right hand up and over. Needle to see bottom, bounce up, relax down, turn your right hand, step, and open the fan through your back. Relax shoulders, arms up, turn to the back. Take the weight left, right side swings down and in. Right side steps and unfolds, turn, step through, punch, apparent close up, gather, and close left. Recover, and a heel tap. Just notice how your body feels. Notice any sensations. Breathe into them and let them go. Good. And when you're ready, you can step out of your practice. Lovely. Well done, everyone. Good attempt. I try to glance at you. There's this concept in acting and theatre called breaking the fourth wall, breaking down the fourth wall. I don't know if you've heard of it, but basically you know, the stage has three sides, and then the audience is the fourth wall. So if you look at the audience, you're breaking the fourth wall. Um, I think it's quite funny because if I want to look at you to sort of interact and be your teacher, then in the recording, I'm breaking the fourth wall. You get this kind of eyeballing. So don't mean to make you uncomfortable, but I want to keep an eye on you and make sure you're doing okay. So, any feedback, any questions or comments? Yeah, thinking about it? Put it this way, is it flowing? Do you feel it's familiar now? Do you feel that you know it? Yes? No? Kinda?
Yeah, I do, but you know,
You knew it before.
yeah, but you know, adapting to your methods, you know, I'm looking at needleless sea bottom going from
Mhm.
flash out arms. That looks a little different, but you know, everybody does that movement differently.
Yeah, I've seen it done very differently. Needle to sea bottom is this directing the energy down into the earth. And I've seen it done with a gentleman, Chinese gentleman, who had a cushion on his head, and on top of the cushion was a bowl of water, and it was filled to the brim, and he didn't spill a drop. So I was thinking, well, that's not how I'm doing it. He stayed upright throughout, and he got his bottom close to the floor. So, basically, he did a pistol squat. So, do you know what a pistol squat is, everybody?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't do it, but I'll, I'll sort of mimic the
All the
pistol
way
squat.
down, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a pistol squat in British or Western ways of thinking, it's I can put
Oh,
it on the left like that. You're standing like that.
ooh.
That's a pistol squat. Yeah, but he was doing it in empty stance, so he was down like this with a bowl of water on his head, and he went down and up on one leg in that. Now that's impressive, but that's not how I was taught to do it. So we're not trying to maintain the normal expression. The Chinese expression is 不丢顶, 不丢顶. So 不 means don't, 丢顶 means drop your hat. So you can practice your Tai Chi actually like this. Get yourself a soft object, maybe like a beanbag or a cushion. This is a little foam dice or die with yoga postures on it that you can sort of challenge yourself to do different postures. But it's nice and soft, and you can practice your art like this. And in general, we employ 不丢顶 the whole time. So it's this idea of keeping the bai hui, the top of your head, floating up and steady throughout your practice. And it's a really nice little practice to do so that you teach your body to maintain that upright position. But the way that I learned needle to sea bottom, you actually allow yourself to drop that hat. So you've got Jade Maiden, half step, roll back to the right, right hand comes up, and you actually pour forward. So, ding, I've lost my hat. But it's an exception to the general rule. I'm keeping my weight back, but it is a direction downwards. So I'm not trying to do this. I'm allowing my head to go, but then bouncing up and expand. But as I say, that gentleman who was very impressive, he kept his ding, he kept his hat on, except his hat was a bowl of water. So, half step, up. That's as far as I can go, doing it that way. It's a really nice practice to do. Get yourself, as I say, a beanbag or a cushion or a foam dice and just rest it on your head and see if you can go through the entire form without dropping your hat. And that is, as I say, the needle to sea bottom for me is an exception to that rule of don't lose your hat. But is there anything specifically that's confusing you or that's different, Pam?
I was just, looking at the transition from shuttles to needle at sea bottom.
Okay. Well, do you want to look at that again? I'll just show you again, the way I do it. Okay, so you're on your left foot forwards, right hand forwards. So we take a half step, feeding the weight back, turning into the right side. So just for a moment, you're framing your right hip. So if I were to lean forwards, do you see the position of my hands? It's sort of like a triangulation point, but you're just passing through that point, and the right hand continues back and up. The left hand, it's a bit like brush knee push. It's not moving independently, but it's coming around because you're squaring up and pierce downwards to then bounce up, hand bringing hand, sinking, hand rolls. Do you see that? The body goes down, the hand rolls up. There's your yin and yang, and then we step and open. So again, it's not square. It's a hybrid position, just like single whip. Okay, shall we all do that together a couple of times? Now, I'm just aware that actually the way we're doing it, it'd be difficult to look at the screen at the same time. So, not to confuse you, but let's turn the room around so we're doing it facing the other way. And then hopefully you'll actually be able to watch me without creaking your neck. So we're going to stand, same work, just facing a different direction. So we're standing on our left hand is blocking up, level with our temple. Our right hand is pressing forwards. That easier? Yeah, okay. So that's the end of your Jade Maiden, which is square. The body is square. We're taking a half step with the right. We feed the weight back and turn to the right, framing your hip just for a moment. Keep going, right hand back, up and over, and now the fingers lead the way as you sink the bottom down. We bounce up, right, bringing left, and we have that T-shaped position. Hold it there. You see that? T-shaped position. Yeah. And then step. As you step, the body sinks down and the right hand rolls up. And now we feed the weight forwards and expand. Left hand forwards, right hand opening like a fan back. Again, this is the hybrid position, so your body is actually facing the corner as your foot and your hand are pointing forwards. And as you look forwards, you should be able to see your right hand with your peripheral vision. Good, and rest. Should we do that again? Give yourself a breath, give yourself a moment. I'd actually be really interested to see the way you were doing it, Pam, but we'll do it once more my way first, and then we'll do it. Okay, ready? If you want to show me, you don't have to. Ready? So, we take a half step, we feed back, frame the hip, right hand back and up, fingers lead the way. So the body rolls forwards from the waist, but it also sinks down from the waist. Now we bounce up, hand brings hand, sink down as the hand rolls up, and open the fan through your back. Good, and rest. Let's do it once more. Let's do it twice more, and I won't say anything. You can just do it with me. Sometimes being led can be torturous. Just do it with me. Okay, ready? And Relax those shoulders. Good. One more time. From here. And relax the shoulders. Relax down into your center and rest. Okay, how does that feel? It's all right? Yeah? Do you want to show us what you're doing, Pam? I'll not put you on the main screen, so. Okay, good. Yeah, so your intelligent computer background made it a little bit fuzzy at times, so you kind of came in and out of.
Sorry about that. Yeah, yeah.
Don't worry. But all things being equal, it looked like you were hitting all the same important points. So a
Right.
little bit of how do you say, there may be some expression difference, but the actual structure looked absolutely sound either way, whether
Right.
you do it my way or the way you've been doing. Often it's funny, you could do something one teacher's way and then do something another teacher's way, and it'll feel very different because there's a different accent or a different
Hmm.
flavor to it, but it
Hmm.
can often have the same structure. And in Chinese, they use this word a lot. So, for example, in Chen style, they say Laojia. Actually, they say it in Yang style as well, Laojia and Xinjia. Jia
Hmm.
means house or frame. They call it house, but frame. So think of, if you have a housing estate, you could have a whole bunch of houses that are built in exactly the same way. They have the same framework, but then the builders decide to put different fascia on the outside. So maybe one has red brick and the other one has white cladding and the other one has like stone or whatever it is. So it'll make the house look completely different, but actually if you look beyond the surface, the structure is exactly the same. So I think whoever taught you that, I think they knew what they were doing. I don't have any criticism uh,
Right. I
of
mean, the
that.
structure is there. That's the important thing. But just
Exactly.
the uh just how you're displaying it.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of he reaches up and pulls down,
Hmm.
does like a rollback here, and
Hmm.
each one has to lift our left leg, and I'm like, I corrected that. Much.
Yeah, it's funny. I've seen some teachers lifting legs quite high, and even our Grant Master did a stage step by step book, like a cartoon. It's a very old way of doing
Yes.
of passing down the knowledge by showing like frames of a film. But you see, okay, this move, then this move, and this move. And I was looking, going, gosh, he's lifting his feet awfully high. That looks awfully high. And I pointed it out to his son, and he went, "No, that's right." That's, his son wouldn't say boo to him. He would never go, "No, he's doing it wrong." Of course, it was right, but yeah. So some expression, whether it's expression is what it is, rather than getting it right or wrong. Yes, you can lift your foot too high if it's uprooting you, or if it doesn't feel strong to you, then one person can lift their foot higher than another. But in general, the little releases that we have, the foot should go no higher than the big bone here.
Mhm.
You see that? I know it's very, very white and shiny, but the big bone here. So if you're doing a release, you shouldn't be lifting your foot up here. It's just here, as opposed to a lift. You can lift as high as you like.
It's not that high, but he does a rollback and then he lifts to get into the empty stance.
Yeah, you can
You know,
do that. Yeah,
just to Press that.
Yeah. I don't emphasize that, but I do it. I do lift the foot before I go down. It's really you're just going into empty stance, and by lifting the foot, you are asserting in your own body that it's
Right.
empty. So
Hmm.
the temptation is that we're putting a bit of weight on that foot, so it's not empty. So I think sometimes a teacher may exaggerate um, a little a little moment like that to just make jolly sure that you've no weight on the foot. Because
Gotcha.
often students, you're in an empty stance and actually they've got weight on it, and that's not what we want.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
I'm happy with that. Hopefully you're happy and you can refer back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah,
video. Good
yeah.
stuff. Okay, so anything else? Anyone else? No? Okay, I'll pick a moment, shall I? Right, up we get. Um, yeah, let us look at, what will we look at? Let's look at the stepping. Oh, sorry, I've left the chair in view. We'll do a wee moment more of stepping, and then I'd like to finish with a moment of relaxation for you, because that is part of the Tai Chi experience. Let's look at the stepping of Jade Maiden into into Needle to Sea Bottom. So watch me from the front, and then we'll do it from the back. So we've just done our golden cockerel stands on one leg. Remember, folks, as is above, so is below. So if you see that, the hand and foot should line up. The elbow and knee should line up. The shoulder and hip should line up. So it's not square, which is very uncomfortable. Again, it's the chest. The body is open a little to the corner. So don't do this. Do you see my elbow is level with my mid-thigh there? That's no good, and I feel really weak. And you don't extend the arm, which I doubt you would do. Elbow above me. Focus your eyes. Okay. So we're going to step to the corner and screw into the front foot, screwing off the back foot. We come through center and step, block, and the heel of the back foot goes back as the hand pushes forwards. Then we repeat. We go back, screw into the front foot, releasing the back, step in front of center and push the heel back. From there, we take our half step, we cycle back and up, release the front foot and needle to sea bottom. To return up and fan through back. So do it with me, please, and we'll do it coming towards me. So go to the back of your space, and we'll start standing on the right leg. Lengthen through the top of your head. And we step to the corner, screw into the front foot. Step, block and push. Back, screw into the front foot. Step, block and push. Half step, feed the weight back, up, release the front foot, needle to sea bottom. Bounce up, relax down, step, fan through back. Well done, and rest. One more time, and then we'll have our little relaxation to finish. Ready? And well done. Relax those shoulders. Don't let them lift. I have to keep telling myself that. And rest. Sometimes when I'm telling you to do something, I'm telling myself to do it as well. I'm still a student. We always are. Let's finish with a little relaxation, please. Turn the waist and breathe. Good. I saw and shared a video of about, I would say, a dozen, maybe more, 80-year-olds or thereabout, Chinese people doing Tai Chi, doing pistol squats, that thing that I showed you earlier, standing on bricks and holding them for a good 30 seconds at least, being counted out. And it looks incredibly impressive. And I was explaining to my class in the retirement home, who are trying very hard to keep themselves fit and not fall, I was explaining, look, it looks very impressive, it is very impressive, let's go to the legs. But you've got to understand that in China, up until recently, all toilets were holes in the ground. So every day, throughout an entire person's life, they would be squatting, sometimes for, I don't know, a good few minutes, or if they were constipated, maybe a bit longer. So they were building that strength, building those muscles all their life. So of course, it doesn't take much, keep going please, it doesn't take much to go from this to this. It's easy. If you've got the squat muscles, you can just lift one leg. So you can play with it if you like. Back to center please, but start with squatting on two legs and see if you can hold a squat for a minute. And if you can't squat low, squat medium and build it up. But just think that, you know, we think of ourselves as very advanced with our porcelain and our nicely comfortable WC, but actually if we were squatting in a hole in the ground, we would actually be a lot stronger and healthier in many ways. It's very, very good for the digestive system. We're designed to squat when we go for number 2, but we've opted for civilization. So I don't think you should be too busy about don't worry too much about toileting unless it's difficult, in which case you can put a wee platform under your feet to mimic a squat, and you can lean forward to mimic a squat. Bounce, 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 please. Let your arms go floppy and relax. But from building strength in your legs, it's an incredibly useful practice. Not just strengthen your legs, strengthen your core. If you can squat, you can sit easily and you can stand up. And you're never too old, never too young to start to get yourself ready for old age and make sure that you're strong and healthy all the days of your life. Don't wait until you're old and then think, maybe I should strengthen myself. Okay, deep breath, please. Float up and relax down. Fully exhale, and as you breathe in, let the breath float your arms up, as if they're being blown up by a breeze, and breathing out with resistance, gently down. Let the breath carry the arms up. Breathing out as if you're gently sinking through layers of fabric. Let the breath float up. Hold the breath at the top, press your fingers into the sky, press your toes into the earth. Think of sealing in your good energy and release. Guide it to center. Hug your elbows in. And just for a moment, allow your energy to return home. Back into the belly, back into your center. And feel your energy is stronger. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Relax down. We'll salute. Hope you enjoyed your practice today, folks. Every effort pays off. And if you enjoy what you're doing, then you will live a happy life. So find a way to enjoy it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.